Welcome to the Nameless Podcast. I am Nick Holmes.
And
Sit with me with is.
I don't know what we're doing right now. I'm Regan Weiss. Thanks for that. We tried. We were actually in discussion because we don't even know the name of this podcast yet.
You know what? We will figure it out and maybe put a poll out there.
We
for
should
everyone.
put a poll.
Yeah.
Just you, the people. Let us know what you wanted this to be called. The Building Business Network. We said the Building Business, which is cool. BBN, which would be nice. The Contractor Podcast, kind of that just, that could go. Josh came up with, what was it a while ago?
So it was originally Barndos Builds and More.
It's
It's still that way.
not bad. But you know what? You figure it out. You tell us.
Let's crowdsource it.
Yes. Let's figure out. We were going to ask ChatGPT, but we're too creative for that. So we'd rather you, the people, come up with the name, and we'll try to figure out that. So anyway, all right, let's do a recap. What
What did we do this week?
I don't know. What did you do? Oh, you did a lot.
I did a lot of stuff this week.
We're going to talk about some pretty cool stuff that he did that's going to benefit all of you. You want to talk about that now? You want to wait on that one?
Let's hop into that in a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, so I know this week we had some big progress coming in our actual projects. So we are officially done moving dirt out at Wesley Chapel.
Yes.
We have completed the slab, put up all the walls, and today we're putting the roof on over at our low-income houses that we're doing over in Brooksville. And then starting next week, we should start moving dirt out in Royal Highlands.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then we went out and we took some drone video of the other property in Newport Richey.
Did that in the rain.
Yep, that was fun in the rain. But what a large piece of property. But then, as you noticed when we were out there, the elevation change, which we're going to have to bring in a ton of fill. We have now water behind us, so that's a big issue we're going to have to figure out again, and then permitting again.
And I'm almost happy that we went through what we went through on the Wesley Chapel project to know what's going to be expected of that same department coming into this property. I'll tell you, this property that we went to this week is substantially worse than what we have going out there.
But still
West
the
Chapel.
same. We're going to have to go through the same routine, right?
Same routine, yeah. It's just it's more of a drop off and less of a makeup area to go ahead and.
Did we? I'm just being transparent because I know our customers going to see this. Did we anticipate that for bringing in loads?
We added a little extra because we did know that we had a little bit extra slope.
I hope it's there. I just hope it's enough.
Well, based on what happened out in Wesley Chapel, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near enough. So we're going to have to address that. And it might be a situation where we approach them and say, yeah, stem wool might actually be cheaper in the census.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's significant.
Just when you have that big of a slope, what people don't realize, so when we bring in fill dirt, we got to bring it up in every 12-inch increments. So every 12 inches, you got to recompact, bring in more dirt, 12 inches compact. So if I got a 6 or 7 foot drop off in one corner, I got 7 compaction tests I got to do to get to that one corner. Not only that, what ends up happening is if I go up 7 feet, I'm coming out 8-9 feet with actual slope grade. So it's a much bigger footprint and volume of dirt that you're using at that point. So sometimes it might actually be a little bit more cost effective to go ahead and just say, okay, let's build a block wall around the entire backside, not have to do all that extra fill that spills out into.
So if we do that for that particular floor plan, that actually would look pretty amazing looking out over that.
It's going to be awesome because the whole back gets elevated at that point, and you're going to see kind of a clear shot across
the lake
water.
or pond or whatever that is. We don't even know what it is.
Marsh.
Some swamp thing there somewhere. But you're right. It will cool. So then it'll be a deck down. So, but unless they wanted a pool, now we got to do that whole thing up.
It's a conversation we got to have as soon as we figure out where the county is going to dictate our what we would call a blue top.
Right.
So, and for everyone else, your blue top is basically the top of your slab. So you're gonna have whatever your top of grade is, and then normally like 8 inches above that is your top of slab, your blue top.
So. I'm looking forward to that one. So we have so that's 3, right? And then we have design as well, right? We have so many in design.
We got a ton of design. I mean, we've got a bunch that are signed that are waiting to go into permitting as well. We can hop into the one that we were talking about earlier. We've got a couple VA projects that.
Let me set it up though. Yeah, let me set it up because I'm more of like the hype guy where he'll be like, yeah, it's cool, we did it, but it's really cool. So I'll be the one that does it. Okay. So pretty soon in the state of Florida, you're going to be seeing Barndos everywhere, and you gotta give hats off to Nick and us as the contractor as to where Barndos are now recognized in the MLS because of our efforts, and that's just the truth and to be transparent. So what's coming next is all of the work that we're doing now. Nick has spent hours upon hours upon hours doing paperwork for the VA, so we are approved, so you can be approved for the future to build Barndos, and that is a big deal. So one day there's going to be a bronze statue of Nick somewhere as the godfather of the Barndos of Florida.
Listen, if they don't put it up themselves, I'll make it and I'll just drop it off in front of the VA.
You wait. You could be the bronze statue, and then I'll be like the bronze statue guy cleaning your shoe.
There you go. Yeah, so
that'd be good.
So there's obviously an approval process for the VA for every builder that they go through. But what we're kind of hitting on here is that the VA has a system set in place. It's a very specific system set for frame houses and for block homes, which we are neither. So
which we'll talk about that.
Right.
Too. Keep going.
We are in this composite realm of part of it's steel, part of it's frame, and then you got your insulation, all that kind of stuff involved. So when you're trying to fill out a VA form and it says, okay, wall thickness, is it 4 inches or is it 8 inches? And we're like, actually 12 inches over here. And okay, well, is it made out of wood or is it made out of block? Well, neither. So the VA doesn't do these things where you can just say, see attached information. It's got to fit within their little realm and their form, which I'm sure for regular conventional homes is easier to go ahead and do. But I was banging my head on the table for hours trying to go ahead and just kind of get this to fit within what they wanted. And the thing that irritates you the most is that you look up in the top corner and it says respondent time requirement, 30 minutes. And I'm at like 5.5 hours at this point.
Well, because it's not your typical home. If you had, you would be able to roll that off, off the top of your dome because you've been doing it for so long with other houses. But when they're asking you the weight of a sash, a window sash on a barndo, which it's not common.
Yeah, it's not. So, and then to top everything off, we get through all of that paperwork, get to the very end, and I talk to the actual appraiser, or a lending company talks to the appraiser, and he goes, what? Don't worry about filling out that form. Go ahead and just write us a letter on your letterhead saying that the plans go ahead and conform to whatever the current building code is, and that you're taking responsibility for it.
That information would have been useful yesterday.
Yeah, so 5.5 hours of frustration, trying to get everything to fit within all this. I finally bring it back and say, look, I'm doing my best. I can't get it to fit with what your guys' specific form says here.
Right.
You know what? Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and write a letter. We'll try to work around it. So we are quite literally paving the way for our competitors to come in behind us and just skate through.
You're welcome. Yeah. No, that's cool though. But at the end of the day, there's healthy competition everywhere, and we always tell everyone, people buy people. You could sell the same widget, product, whatever. People gravitate to the people. That's how that works. I always tell people,
it's good for the industry.
100%. Yeah, dude. It's like the Elon Musk mentality.
Wherever
here's
we
my
can
patents,
reduce costs and help out on that kind of stuff. I mean, we're going to run into a housing crisis at some point in time. So whatever we can do to help kind of ease that along and not have it be as detrimental when it does come, I think is beneficial for everybody.
Were we talking about I don't know if it was you and I were talking about the baby boomers, and then they're next in line, and that's not a bad thing. But they're next in line for the ALFs, and there's not enough ALFs for baby boomers, and then all those homes that are going to be sold, and then who's going to sell them to?
Yep.
It's going to be a different world. Think about it.
I used to have a buddy back when I was working for my previous employer that designed ALFs and then built them up and sold them off to management companies. And it amazed me how fast they made their money back on those.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't realize how high the rent is for some of these ALF and memory care facilities.
Yep.
But
here's the thing, though. I know the ALFs are going to have to be built at the same time, but I really think it's going to be a generational change again, where people are moving back in with their families, and that's the whole point of Barndos as well. Because
we're already seeing that. 100%. Yeah,
we're going to split them up, and you will live on this side, and I live on this side. It's happening right now, and kids are saving a ton of money because they're living with their folks.
Not only that, I mean, you see the whole push in Pinellas. So Pinellas, not that they're in a crisis, but they don't have any more land.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're built out.
Yep.
Pinellas is starting to do some really interesting things with adding ADUs, accessory dwelling units, to backyards, to where in a lot of instances, like, say you're in Hernando County, you want to build a mother-in-law suite. Hernando County, for most of the PDP of like Spring Hill, if you're building a mother-in-law suite, it's got to be within 30 feet of the main structure.
Right.
It's got to be attached by some type of breezeway.
Yep.
It can't be more than like 60% of the main floor area.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah. So they've got all these restrictions on architectural compliance, and they want it to look the same, and it's got to be attached. It's to the point in Pinellas County right now where, hey, go ahead and build it. If it fits in the backyard, we're happy about it.
5 years ago, like trying to build an addition on there, it was a no-no.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember there was like lawsuits and just for people building a dwelling, 2 dwellings on a property.
Yep.
And then, I remember they would have, we'll call our own electrician so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. And then they'll run the line to it off the
We'll
line.
put a stretch of cabinets over here, a 36-inch gap, and then a stretch of cabinets over here. And if an oven shows up, an oven shows up.
We won't have a stove there, but it's an empty space.
Yeah.
You mean with the electric behind the wall? That's how it was. Wow, I didn't know. So they are changing it.
Oh yeah, they went totally the opposite direction, and they're like pushing them now.
Why do you think they were against it? That's the point. Like, what was the philosophy behind that?
I got no idea. I mean, I'm sure with everything, it's how do you manage the tax on it? How do you go ahead and think about all those roads up there? I mean, you get so much congestion anyway. Now we're going to double our residency in a certain area.
So you're saying, if it was detached without a breezeway, how would you handle it as a second dwelling? But because it's attached with a breezeway, it's the same dwelling? That's how you do the taxes?
Yeah.
So stupid.
Yeah, well,
all that money for a breezeway
about that
or an attachment.
I mean, okay, so if they're detached and they're separated by 150 feet now,
right,
put 2 meters on it?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's silly though. That is silly. It wouldn't necessarily just be.
Well, because I feel like a lot of people actually are using them for suites now instead of
their man cave or whatever.
Well, a lot of people are renting them.
Oh,
a lot of it was apartments, and people were generating income off that kind of stuff, and they weren't using it as like a bed tax or anything. But now you got multiple families living, in quarter-acre lots. So
interesting.
You have an area that's zoned for a certain density residential living, and now we're trying to essentially put multifamily on, certain lots. I think that's what a lot of the fear was.
Well, anyway, we're paving the way. we're paving the way for you, and we're having fun doing it at the same time. So. It's actually been a
ton of fun.
Good. It was kind of fun. It's also very stressful. It takes a toll on you. There's a lot going on for sure. We went to the dealership this week.
Yeah.
We got a sales and marketing vehicle.
Yeah.
For us, and it's a Bronco, which is pretty cool. So you're gonna be seeing that driving around town. We got a little wrap going on that soon. So that's
hopefully we'll be picking up those keys today.
That would be super cool. Super cool. And then Nick, we're gonna have all these videos with Nick and me and Josh. Off-roading. I'm just kidding.
Well, this is Daytona Beach. You're on the beach
Daytona
driving.
Beach. Well, it's like 1997 with this guy.
Top off.
Return of the Mac. Return. Okay, don't play that. That's too well. Don't play it anyway.
Oh, it's going to be in there.
What else we got going this week? We got a home show today.
Yeah,
that's
you got
pretty
their
cool.
home extravaganza.
Yeah, it's the RJ Kilty home extravaganza. It's first time a home show has returned to Newport Richey at the Newport Richey Rec Center, and it's today, 2 to 6, I think, 2 to 6, and then 12 to 4, I think, or 12 to 6 tomorrow. Either way, it's tomorrow at 12, and so that's a good way to meet with the trade. So, as you know, at all home shows, that's where you go and you get to press the flesh, and a lot of the business owners are there versus just the salespeople, and I think that's an opportunity where you get to meet. Business owners, which I think is cool.
I got kind of hats off too to Tanner there. I mean, 50 years in business. This is their 50th anniversary, right?
So
this year?
It's done. 23 was the 50th anniversary. So last year everything was gold, right? Their gold wrench, their gold toilet, the gold Christmas tree, the gold thing. So it was their golden year.
That's awesome.
50 years in business. This is what's cool about Tanner, and I'll give him props on this. Let's be just transparent. It's a family business, okay? He worked his way, because I remember back in my D.R. Horton days, which, that's something we're going to start talking about, because people don't really know our history. They don't know about the villages. They don't know where I've come from. They just don't. They just think we make cool videos and we just know stuff.
Just hopped into it.
Yeah, we're figuring it out. But anyway, I remember him like on the phones back in my D.R. Horton days, just trying to figure out scheduling, and then, he's on a truck and he had to learn. Like, it's not like something that was like, here's the keys, he had to figure it out. And it's pretty cool, and where he wants to take the company. So the company's a very successful company now. I think it's a $50 million a year company, and now he wants to take it to the next level. That's where
awesome.
it's at. If you're complacent and you're just, how many people do you see that they've been handed the keys to the business, and either it dives,
that's too many,
right, or they just maintain where they've ever been. They plateaued.
Well, and I think that's probably the most interesting thing for me is in any business. You know, you do see these kind of plateau levels that you end up hitting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's every business is worried about getting that first million, you know, and it's such a grind to get to $1 million. And then, you know, it's 1 million to 10 million. And then some people just kind of stop there and can't figure it out because
they're comfortable too.
Well, processes have to change.
Level. True.
You know, like in most businesses, once you get to a certain threshold, you can only do so much capacity with the systems that you have in place. You have to reevaluate what you have and be able to actually expand and invest back into the company to get to that next level. But I think that's a really cool thing to talk about as to how to get your business to, you know, realize that unlimited cap. You know, and I think especially in a service business like that, you know, like Tanner's in, that's a difficult thing to get to, but it should essentially be an unlimited cap. Right. I mean, everyone needs plumbing. Everyone needs, AC. You know, AC. Yeah. It's he's in the right area for it.
For sure. And he's young. He's only like you, only in the 30s. Yeah. You know, he just
he's that young.
Yeah. I think he's 30. I think he's 35.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you again?
33.
Yeah. God, he's just so more mature than I am. This just proves it right here. Oh, that's fantastic. Honestly, at 33, and that's the truth. Like I know where I was at 33, and it was almost a reset for me. You know, and I know really quick, we'll touch on it. I talked to so many people in the younger generation, and because of this stupid thing, they think success should be overnight, dude. You know, they're not seeing you, like we talked about before, sleeping in the office or waking up first thing in the morning and staying away from your family because you can't go or missing a dinner, and then on top of that, got to be in the community, and you got to go here, and you got to meet this person, you got to press the flesh with this. It's a lot, you know. And they're like, "Oh, I'm not where I am yet. Why am I not there?" It's they get aggravated. But it takes a lot. It takes a long time. And then you got guys like me that started later in life. Like I worked for the man until I was 38. Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm gonna take the safe way.
That's how most people were. I mean, that was what the majority of the world did. Yeah, you know. But I think outside of that, though, we live in Florida, right? So Florida is the #1 state in the nation for small businesses. Yeah, we've created the most small businesses in Florida year over year, and I think that's you know part to do with our tax structure, part to do with how easy it is to go ahead and actually open LLCs here and open businesses. But it's the American dream. Everyone kind of wants that, right? The whole idea is work for yourself and it's gonna be great. And
it's not. It's great, but it's not.
It's great once you get to a certain point.
And like you said, like that whole first, we got to get to the million. It's a big deal for a lot of people, and then some people are fine at that, and you make a living. I mean, you do. To me, when you're at that late, and it sounds like a lot. It's just not in today's world. It's just not $1 million. And I think at $1 million, you basically created a job for yourself. Yep. Because you got to work your butt off. You still got to maintain that, even if you have payroll. Like you're still working. You get to that 1 to 10 million mark, you're kind of like, well, maybe I could spend some more time on vacation or maybe, and then 10 to 20, now you're working your ass off again. Now you're unless you position yourself to bring in a CEO or a director.
I remember that one under 1 million range. I was always counting how many weeks of payroll I had left in the bank account. Yeah. Like, all right, I got 4 weeks of payroll before I'm bankrupt. Like I got to figure out where's my money coming from? Where's my next meal?
I tell people all the time, I said, have you positioned yourself, like God forbid the bottom falls out, have you positioned yourself to have 1 year of salary and 1 year to let this company run? And if you haven't yet, you really need to start thinking about how you're spending your money in the company.
Not only that, like take a step back and just realize how much crazy stuff happens to people. The amount of time we spend driving, like statistically, something more should happen to us, right?
Like, thanks, bro.
Well, I'm just saying.
Thanks, Nick.
You never know.
I pray for everyone over you right now. Okay.
You pull out of a 7-Eleven and get T-boned. Yeah. Say you're out for medical and you've got nobody to actually run the company. Like that's a big conversation to have.
You know Steve Farrell, right? Farrell Roofing, Team Farrell. Yeah. And I was blessed to work with him for quite some time. And you just pick up nuggets, especially in my younger years. You just pick up nuggets, and you here and there. And the first time I ever heard anyone say this was him, and it was, if one person disappears in your company, it hurts your company, you're going to have a problem. There shouldn't be so much to where, like if I was to disappear, if you were to disappear and a company's not running anymore, that you're not running an effective company, right? You have multiple companies. We'll use your drafting company, for example. You can walk away for a little bit if you had to, right? That's a beautiful thing. But then when you're starting up other companies, you have to be there. You have to be present. You have to be omnipresent. So that was one of the things he said to me. He's like, there shouldn't be the one man that could take down the company. If one, Steve can go anywhere, and it will just run on itself now because it's an organized company.
Right.
So I learned, that's one of the first things I learned from him from that one, which I thought was fantastic. But if you think about how scary that is, a lot of people think that you're going to open up a business and it's going to be easy. It's just not. You really need to think about it. And then a lot of people that they're great number twos, they think they can be that number one business owner. You're a great number two for a reason, because number one's got to do all the other ancillary things that you don't want to do or can't do. It's okay to stay number two in another company, because sometimes the grass isn't greener always on the other side. How many people want to jump ship? I could do that too. And then they're knocking on the door 6 months later to come back in.
I mean, as a number two, you're capped to that 40 hours a week, making your $100,000 a year. And you go ahead and try to jump out on your own. You realize that you're not actually getting any paid, and you're working 80 hours a week just to go ahead and keep the lights on.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. I was like, I can do this. Oh shit! Wait a minute, I don't have a paycheck.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's hard.
But it's been done. We're doing it, and we continue to do it.
Well, I just think that'd be kind of cool that we could maybe help other businesses grow as well and make those connections. Because, I mean, you like to remind me all the time, and I like to remind you all the time that the main reason that linked up with you is for the people that you know and not necessarily what you know, right?
I can't. And he says it so smoothly. It just hurts me. Not because he likes me, loves me, thinks I'm a handsome old man. No.
We are all nothing but a Rolodex for somebody else.
Love you, buddy. Yeah. See that? That's love. It is true. Relationships are truly everything. And at the end of the day, I really think all the relationships I've had have launched me to where I am today, including relationship with you. At the end, I would not have a patent without you, sir. And that's the thing about that. Yeah. As minuscule as that is, I have a U.S. patent because I met with Nick and we sat down and we put design down together. And he looked at it at first. He's like, "This is stupid," but it works.
I don't know if I ever said this is stupid.
No, you didn't. But
I'm pretty sure this is just a closet, buddy.
At the time, it's true. But at the time, but think about it, it's all marketing, though, right?
Oh, it is. Man.
And at the time, there was no COVID. There was nothing. The only thing we were thinking about at that time was, e-commerce is going crazy. Everyone's getting everything delivered.
Yep.
Porch piracy is going crazy. And then that was the thought process. Yep. At the end of the day, you're right. It's a vestibule closet to get into the home. But then when you market it properly and it's UV lighting and refrigeration.
UV lights, you have the refrigeration in it. You
and then access.
The dual locks.
Right.
And
it
all that
changed
kind of stuff.
to a package portal, which because I met Nick on a project. So Nick and I were actually, we'll talk about it really quick. We were retained, which I thought was fantastic, to actually help build this community. They wound up selling the property and it never, didn't go through. But it doesn't matter.
It was 94 or 91 houses?
91 houses, and then right near where Ron Smith lives.
Yep.
Nick and I were retained actually to help design the houses. And then while we were sitting there, remember we were sitting there one day in the office. I'm like, wait a minute, what if we do this room so people can't steal packages, this, that, and the other? And we never thought about it any other way. I'm like, wait a minute, this can be something else. And then I'm like, hell with it. Let's go meet with a patent attorney. I met with a patent attorney. He was like, this will work. And it took 3 years. 3 years to get the patent on that. And GE fought it. I don't know if you ever knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
I had to pay another $5,000. Screw you, GE. Yeah, to fight it. GE fought it, and they said, listen to this. This is really cool because they send you everything like something that they invented. So in 1991, an engineer at GE created the refrigerator that goes on the outside of the house. True story, dude. So they send me, I go, what? So picture like vinyl siding. Literally, like you can see the refrigerator with vinyl siding on it. I'm like, that's a refrigerator that opens up to the outside. And then they had like these drawings, all hand drawing back in 91, of like kids playing outside eating hot dogs, and the father is like grilling on the grill. And I think I still have it. And they're like, yeah, it's our refrigerator. So the mom and dad don't have to go on the inside. They can just go to the refrigerator on the outside. I said, that is not a package portal. We're getting packages delivered. Just because I said refrigeration, that means there's a refrigerator in my invention, not a refrigerator. $5,000 pushed back one.
Really?
I beat GE. Because my attorney did. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make any sense either. Why would you want to have to go ahead and move stuff from your inside fridge to the outside fridge?
I think it was like you can
open like a back-to-back door type thing?
Back-to-back door refrigerator. So I'm like, wait a minute. Anyone can just...
all your kitchens have to be at the front of the house, huh?
Or back of the house.
Wow.
Like, but think about that in 91. Like GE came up with that. Well, why don't we just have a built-in fridge where you can access it from both sides so you don't have to go in the house?
I got to tell you, our whole patent system is broken.
Yeah.
So like even let's talk about the contractor for a second.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tried getting a trademark on this.
Yep.
And we went through 3 different attorneys who all say, hey, look, that's just not the way trademarks work. You know, so it's the same way as calling yourself Italian restaurant or Chinese restaurant and putting that up there.
Yeah, the patent system is kind of, it's iffy, but either way.
Exactly. Yep. There's plenty of issues in government elsewhere.
And we'll leave it at that. That's why you're going to fix things in the future.
Hopefully.
When do you really think, we'll talk about that really quick because I know this is great stuff and he'll maybe make a million videos with it. When do you really think, like, when are you going to put your foot, because you got your hand in a lot of cookie jars, as do I, but you more, which is really a lot.
Yeah.
When do you really want to put your foot in, you think? Is it in your 40s, 50s? You think you just dabble now in the political world? Where is it with you? And I say that respectfully. I don't want to say the word dabble as being diminutive. I'm just saying, like, like all in.
So that is a tough question. I think a lot of that has to do with family situation, right? So, I mean, you know that I ran for county commission. Ended up stepping out of that race, but at that point in time, we only had my son, right? And then we had our daughter shortly after that, and realizing how much time that side takes on, I mean, everything we do takes away from family, right? It's either going to be a give or take system somewhere along the way, but I'm probably at least 4 years out from doing anything.
All right.
Yep.
So we're going to build an empire in 4 years, which puts me towards retirement. So I'm good.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, no, it's retire. When do you plan on retiring?
Joking, bro.
Yeah, geez.
I'm just honestly like, we've had private conversations.
Trying to think a 50-year retirement.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I have that mind that's never going to stop, just like you, and I'll always be one up doing something, and I tell you, it terrifies me. That's why I operate on a sense of fear, and people think I shouldn't say that. It's like weak to say that, but I operate in a sense of fear that this could all disappear tomorrow. That's why I like. Some people think right now, because I'm changing the tone of my voice, I'm trying to get all serious and act it up. But the truth is, this is gratitude, because this can disappear. I enjoy these moments. I enjoy talking on the mic. I enjoy Josh behind the camera looking at me like I'm a goofball. I enjoy this because it's going to disappear, because I can't get that vision from my father on his deathbed. I can't get rid of it. I was there in the room, and he just kept reflecting. And now he did a lot. He did a lot. Pilot, fireman, realtor, car wash owner. Like, he was the entrepreneur of the entrepreneurs. Did I do enough? Was my life good enough? I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's crazy to me too, because I mean, at his time, entrepreneur wasn't the sexy thing to be.
Nope. You were a rogue. You didn't have your shit together.
Yeah, it was the guys that couldn't hold a job for 40 years at GE.
Yep.
Right?
Literally. Because we were so conditioned, like that was life. Remember the briefcase? Bye, honey. Have a good day. Put on your top hat and walk out. Right. That's his generation.
It's crazy
as that.
It is.
Right? Like there was only a radio when my father was born. No television. That's where he's from. So he's always worked his way up, and when, mind you, he was a Marine. So he was a Marine, a fireman, all these things. And then when I asked him, like, well, Dad, should I do that? No, son, that's not the life you want. Think about that.
Wow.
You don't want that life, son. Don't join the military. Don't be a fireman. Don't. You're gonna work hard. You're gonna own a business. You're gonna work. You're gonna work your way up and work for yourself. You'll see. Like, it took me a while, but I finally figured it out.
Yeah.
But his whole mindset was always that. And I have regrets. Like, I've always wanted. Like, I wanted to join the military because that's something that I wanted to do. I still think, well, I'm getting off subject here, but not. Like, I still, like Israel, you got to be in the military for 2 years. Look at the loyalty the Israel citizens have to that country, because they've all been in that military aspect and they understand that, right?
I mean, we're incredibly fortunate to live in the country that we live in. Have the actual people.
And half of America doesn't know it, Nick.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm gonna start going there, and half of America doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Think about that. We're still trying to figure out if we're male or female. Or we're still trying to figure out certain things, as you're calling this one. I'm just saying, like, it's.
Oh, we can go there,
dude. It's a broken society, and I said this before. I said this in my meeting the other day. I got so hot, dude. Like, I had to stop because, and I'll keep calm now. But I want you to think about this. Russia, what are they doing with their kids? They're teaching them jiu-jitsu, how to fight in grade school, right? How to defend yourself. China, same thing. How to fight, how to defend yourself. Self-defense classes, like mandatory. And here, PE's optional.
Listen, Russia's doing it because they got to fight the bears that are coming in their houses at night.
It's Russian bear. Rusky no Russia.
But yeah, no, it's because of how good we do have things over here. I think a lot of people take it for granted and don't open their eyes to everything else that's going on in the world.
No, and it's this thing
Yeah.
just eludes reality of what's really going
It's
on
an
in the
echo
world.
chamber, man. That's what it's designed for. I mean, all social media. It's you start interacting with the things that you like, and that's what keeps on just pushing back to you. So you stay on the app
I'm
longer.
tired of seeing Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I will tell you. You saw the TikTok thing with China, right? What their kids see versus what our kids see.
No.
So China has, their version of TikTok, and I think it's from 14 and under. It might be 12 and under or 14 and under. If you're that age bracket, it's only educational videos that they play.
Oh.
Us, twerking.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We're at war. No one sees it, and they think we're conspiracists and crazy people for saying this stuff. But they are weakening our country.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing. So
that's a conversation to have just on its own there. I mean, so I've got 2 young kids, and obviously I feel like everyone around them has some type of technology and stuff like that. It's trying to make the decision as to when that's right for your family to go ahead and move in and actually say, okay, I need to be able to get a hold of my children, just to have the phones. That's I don't know how my parents did it.
I talked about this with Tanner on his
Oh,
podcast the other day. When is that time? I mean, I told him, I go, I'm 10 years older, 11 years older than you, Tanner. Learn from my mistakes. Don't give it to him.
No.
Until or if you give it to him, make sure it's only talking or text and communication. Don't let him have social media. Dude, listen, I'm embarrassed. Like it's one of my failures as a parent, and I'll say it publicly. I gave them social media, and they're addicted, and I have to turn their phones off. So thank God, iPhone, you can on the family thing, you can go and then limit what apps they have, and they can limit the time.
Oh, really?
So my phone, they're like, Dad, it clicks on. They're like, I need another 10 minutes. And what's funny is they can extend it, I think up to 3 times, ask for another minute. And then I have to prove it, ask for another minute to prove it. But 9 o'clock, the phone shut down now. So my oldest, who's 19, who had free range of social media, it's completely different with my youngest.
Right.
So I'm a different parent between my 19-year-old and my 12-year-old. And it's a more mature parent, to an extent. But at the end of the day, I realized how much she was dependent on it and how much they just mindlessly scroll, and that was my failure. So I'm telling you, parents, dude, I'm telling both of you two behind the camera too. When your time comes, your time's coming. Don't give it to them. It's bad.
I remember when I first got a cell phone, if you accidentally hit the internet button on that phone, it was the end of the world. We were trying to shut everything down as fast as possible. It was $1 a minute.
Yeah, now forget it. I do remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had the first. So I graduated high school in 1997, and I was one of the only ones that had a cell phone.
Yeah.
I had the Ericsson
97, huh?
Ericsson phone. So it was
a little satchel bag
with the numbers were prominent all in the front with the antenna. Look like a walkie-talkie. I was like, I put that sucker on my belt like I was cool. I clipped it on, like, yeah, I got a cell phone, and it was probably $2 a minute or whatever it was.
Middle school, you're still using carrier pigeons.
I thought it was so cool. But we go back to those phones, and then 2 years later, Nokia. Then you can play the game Snake on the phone, where you would catch it. The evolution of the phone, then your BlackBerry and all that stuff, and it's been great. And business gets done 10 times faster because of it, and communications faster, and articulating your message. Yeah. And then
I gotta tell you, when I went to work in the villages, the entire villages was run off Nextel.
Oh,
the entire villages run off Nextel, and it was great for certain things. You could communicate really quick, but that was one of those things we realized real fast. If you mess up,
everyone's gonna know.
Everyone gets to hear you get chewed out by your boss.
Can I tell you a Nextel story? And this is a shout out to my late father. This is fantastic. This just goes to show you my dad was my wingman. So, I'm dating at the time. And Nextel was the thing. We all had Nextel. So me and my dad were working together in real estate at Lexington.
Okay.
And I said, so I'm on this date. And I said, I didn't want to be on the date anymore. So I walked away, used the restroom. I called my father. I go, Dad, listen to me. On the Nextel, in 5 minutes, I need you to say, son, no ifs, ands, or buts. I need you at the house right now. He's like, and first of all, he's like, are you okay? I'm like, Dad, everything's okay. I just need you to get me out of a situation. So I'm on the date, and all of a sudden, oh, it's my dad. What's going on? Son, yeah, Dad. Yeah, Dad, what's up? Hey, no ifs, ands, or buts. I need you at the house in 10 minutes. You got it, Dad. I got to go.
There you go.
Nextel, woo! Because I wasn't man enough to tell her I wasn't interested.
Well, to go ahead and wrap it up,
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and put it out there again. If you are a business that wants to go ahead and be on this podcast, first of all, if you have a name for this podcast, put it down somewhere in the comments here. We're going to go ahead and have to pick something here and crowdsource. Maybe there's going to be a gift involved for somebody who picks a good name. Yeah. But if you want to be on the podcast, reach out to Josh at apeshotpro.com. Let him know, and he will start scheduling people on. We'll get going.
I love it. Have a great week, everyone. Make it a great week. Do something epic, and we'll see you next time.